no one is right about everything, but Hitler was absolutely right about communism, and it was and remains the scourge of the earth. It is presenting to us hell on earth. It is going to get a lot worse if we allow it to, and here we are. But we are really approaching fast the moment of truth for President Donald J. Trump.
Mm.
We're really about to find out whether he's our guy or not. Everyone's hoping. Everyone's looking to him as the great leader for the world. It's not just for America. Because if America falls, who else is there? I mean, it'll take some time. Someone will step up eventually. Maybe the demoralization has to go much, much deeper. It did go, I think, deeper in the Weimar Republic. In the lead up to the uprising. So maybe the West just needs to go through a decade of absolute darkness for the light to reemerge. But this is the thing: is like I don't know. I don't really give much time or energy to thinking that this is end game. It's a bigger game than last time, but that's just how it plays out. And I don't know that this is the end of the road. There may be a period of darkness before a renaissance, a resurgence, a great recovery. We just don't know. So what we have to do is keep speaking the truth as best we can with whatever means we have available to us. Hang on to what hope we have. Do the right thing. Be exemplars of goodness, even as they crucify us. And, give Jesus a big high five at the end of it all, whatever happens.
Just like that.
That's
just like that.
Just like that. Just like that.
Yeah, so you're right. We don't know. We just don't know. But the thing is, what's the positive way of saying who cares? It kind of is like that. With the non-nihilistic way, but the really more like, there's a side of it where it seems to be allowed for things to go completely off the rails from time to time. Like we've gone through complete catastrophic events on this planet. Even in our generation. 9/11 was nothing compared to some of the things that our ancestors went through. And just shoot, man. World War I and II are recent, but there's been destructive comets coming by this earth, and there are buried civilizations from, it's just everything that's ever been has gone. And everything that is now will also go. And so whether you live to be 80, 90, 100 years old and then kick the bucket, or if it's coming next month, it's one way or the other. The end is nigh for all of us.
And you know who really wants to live to 90 or 100? The boomers. They're desperate to hang on as long as they can. We were talking about this before the show. They're so afraid of death. They're terrified of death. This is why we're in the state we're in now, is this generation, the boomers, our current rulers, they are the most godless generation we've seen in centuries. And as a result, they fear death because they don't know God. And because they fear death, they've sold out their children and their grandchildren and their great-grandchildren to live potentially drastically shortened lives because they've handed us over to the communists for the comforts and the modern conveniences and for the elongated life that was promised to them if they just live as hedonistically and selfishly as they can while they're young and, destroy the traditions and the conservatism and the Christian values that enabled them to live such a wealthy and comfortable life. They can just set fire to all of that and then watch the whole world burn. So thanks, boomers. Love you guys. Great work.
Great work. Poor bastards. But hey, man, our kids are going to look back on our generation. What are they going to think? Are they going to talk about the millennials? What are they going to have to say about us?
Yeah, they're going to look back at us and think that we were slow to act, that we were weak, that we were, we have been too comfortable too. We've grown up in the tail end of the age of comfort and convenience and modernity, and it's drawing to a close. And the next generation, sadly, is going to have a much, much tougher time than us, but it's going to make them much, much stronger men, and they'll be better equipped to turn it around. And so, our job is to train them to be good, to be resilient, to be hopeful, to be willing to stick their neck out for their neighbor. And if we can do that, I think the times themselves will forge men of steel in the generations to come. And that's how it goes. I mean, Weimar was a decade of misery for the German people before a huge cultural uprising, and massive change. And of course, it all went up in flames again not long later. This is how it goes. We're dealing with a major clash of spiritual forces here manifesting in human form. But there are differing opinions about what's just around the corner. The Rubicon approaches. January 6th is kind of the time. We're going to find out what Donald Trump is made of. We're going to find out what Mike Pence is made of. We're going to find out what we're going to find out who in the Congress is on our side and who is not, once and for all. And we're going to find out who among the American people have the courage to do what it takes to get through this, because your country has been stolen from you. They've officialized it, even though you haven't reached the deadline yet. They're running with the narrative very, very hard. And we fast approach the point of no return. And Trump is going to have to make a very, very difficult decision. Maybe he already has. I mean, you would hope he's already made the decision. He talks like he's not going to give up. But not giving up means that he actually has to accept that the Constitution has been destroyed. The Constitution is over. America, as you know it, is over. It's not coming back. I mean, you can take the best parts and rebuild with it. You don't have to throw the baby out with the bathwater. You can keep the best ideas. But constitutional federal America is done. It's over. You can't trust the electoral process. You can't trust your government. You can't trust the media. It's just all lies and nonsense to steal it from you. And your vote has no power at all. In fact, your vote has been completely nullified. So your participation in democracy as American citizens has been stolen from you. You've been robbed of your franchise. And so now it's going to require Donald Trump to say, well, it is what it is, and now it's time to be reciprocal. The Constitution's gone, so now we just got to win. Now we've just got to survive. Now we've just got to take back power and make something better. I don't know if Trump's that guy or not. What do you reckon?
I can't even imagine how that would play out. Maybe my brain ain't big enough for that, but I can't imagine how it would work. Our government is set up in a way that, I mean, unless there's exceptions and loopholes and strings to pull that I'm not aware of, and I've been watching, been hearing all the commentators give their
there's no
perspective.
strings left to pull. It's triggers. That's what needs to be pulled next. It's military action with the support of the people. If the military stand with Trump and the people stand with Trump, you've got this. But if no one's courageous enough to do that, and everyone's like, oh, but the Constitution, we've got to do it by the book, we've got to play by the rules, even though the other side does not play by the rules, then, get ready for the gulag.
I'm getting ready. I'm packing my bags. I'm packing my internal bags. I am preparing myself. I'm getting ready to see the looks on my children's faces. I'm getting ready to see the panic in the streets and the absolute terror that's associated with the future that we are one breath away from. And I am not stacking a bunch of hopes on Donald Trump to come through with a miraculous victory that's going to save us from that. I don't think so. So I'm not expecting the White House to be cleansed with, a bunch of mercenaries are going to sweep in and arrest. And the day of the rope is not coming from the White House. And I don't think it's coming from Main Street either. I think it's just not going to happen. I think we are just about to let ourselves get murdered. We're just going to commit suicide as a culture. And everybody's retarded, and it's our fault. And that's just how it's going to go.
I told you he's been munching black pills.
It's crazy.
Dude, so I'm just like,
I'm just saying my prayers. I'm like forgiving everybody. I'm trying to see if I can just be graceful and about it. And we're on the Titanic, and it has hit the iceberg, and it's now beginning to tilt. This is that moment of tilt. And it's like any thought of bailing the water out or patching the hole, that's gone now. And the lights are shut off, and the water is icy cold. And some of us are going to make it into a lifeboat, but most of us are not. And that's about what's going to happen. And that's a real historical event. I mean, whatever the actual story of it is, that went down. And a lot of tragedies like that have gone down. And there's nothing guaranteeing we're not going to hit another one. And every indicator is pointing to me that that's what we're about to go through. And it's...
Yeah, and we don't have to look very far back into history to know just how far the communists are willing to go against you and your children and your culture and Christianity and all of it. So
Yeah.
it's
They
I
hate
think
us.
I think January 6th, I think it's boog or bust. I think that's where we're at now, boog or
Yeah.
bust. But we will see. And there are people out there who remain at least vocally and outwardly confident in Trump. And Vox Day is somebody whose opinion I always respect. I don't necessarily always agree. I certainly don't think he's always right. I don't think that of anyone. But his opinions are always worth checking
I
out.
hope it's not me. I hope I'm not right.
Yeah, me too.
I hope
Mike.
everybody else is right and I'm wrong.
Yes, agreed.
Okay.
So,
But what does Vox say?
well, the big black pill for a lot of people on Trump lately was the signing of the spending bill, and here's what I mean. It's not even really a Vox article; it's just a quotation. But here's what he said. As president, this is what Donald Trump said. As president of the United States, it's my responsibility to protect the people of our country from the economic devastation and hardship that was caused by the China virus. It's sort of, I mean, we're at the point now where we're talking about the existential devastation, and Trump's not yet talking about that. He's talking still about the economy. He's a businessman. He doesn't read books. He doesn't know history. He's an ignoramus when it comes to the Jewish question and history and all that sort of stuff. So, but what Trump is, where Trump is strong, is that in business he has great instincts. He's got great instincts about money and opportunities and deals. He's a great negotiator. But these are not the kind of skills that are necessary moving forward from here. He needs to be a patriarch to the country. He needs to be a father to America if he wants to be of use moving forward as things heat up, I think. So we'll see if he can be that. I don't know. He is a family man, so that counts for something. Anyway, he says, I understand that many small businesses have been forced to close as a result of harsh actions by Democrat-run states. Many people are back to work, but my job is not done until everyone is back to work. Do camps count? Fortunately, as a result of my work with Congress in passing the CARES Act earlier this year, we avoided another Great Depression. Under my leadership, Project Warp Speed has been a tremendous success, and my administration and I developed a vaccine many years ahead of the wildest expectations, and we're distributing these vaccines and others coming soon to millions of people. So what's with the Trump's unequivocal support of this vaccine when the evidence is starting to come out that people are getting Bell's palsy from it? There's questions as to whether it's going to destroy the fertility of people who take it. There's never been, as far as I know, a vaccine. Like, it's not a good thing for a vaccine to be rolled out this quickly, especially for a fake pandemic that hasn't actually killed anyone. Like, what is Trump doing? And the QAnon 4D chess crew always want to have an answer for it. Like, it's a fake vaccine to go with the fake. It's all just subterfuge, and the real plan is kept away from us. But I'm skeptical. As president, I've told Congress that I want far less wasteful spending and more money going to the American people in the form of $2,000 checks. As president, I'm demanding many rescissions under the Impoundment Control Act of 1974. This is the interesting part. The act provides that whenever the president determines that all or part of any budget authority will not be required to carry out the full objectives or the scope of programs for which it is provided, or that such budget authority should be rescinded for fiscal policy or other reasons, including termination of authorized projects or activities for which budget authority has been provided, the president shall transmit to both houses of Congress a special message describing the amount to be reserved, the relevant accounts, the reasons for the rescission, and the economic effects. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but we know that Trump is also still pushing hard to repeal Section 230, which may or may not be a good thing for our internet. Now, here's Vox's comment. He says, it's fair to observe that the president will still have to follow through on the rescissions, but it looks as if the Impoundment Control Act will permit him to essentially line item veto the various provisions that the American people found so offensive. In other words, the jury is still out. So though he has signed off, he's signed this bill to keep the country moving, to get the money flowing, to do the things that he's listed, he still has options to modify it later using this act. So, and this is the other interesting comment from Vox. He says, notice that this is not a move that makes sense for a president who does not expect to be in office after January 20th, 2021, because it will take time for him to come back and rescind those budget lines, right? He won't be able to do that before January 6th or even necessarily even before January 20th. Regardless, as always, wait 48 hours before you attempt to judge his actions. Yeah, I say wait 48 years and then we'll judge Trump's actions in hindsight. And remember, Congress already had the votes to override a presidential veto. Perhaps the rescissions will prove to be meaningless, but we already know that the veto would have been nothing but a symbolic gesture. And and of course, King Kvetcher himself, the acid-tripping Mike Cernovich, disagrees. And he says, tonight was the end of any remaining hopes, delusional or otherwise, that Trump would remain in office for a second term. He capitulated totally, a pathetic act of weakness, leaving a stain on his presidency. Entered a lion, left a lamb. Mitch's and Pelosi's favorite mutton. So, yeah, don't listen to Cerno. He's nuts. Cerno's insane.
Yeah,
he's
true.
he's always fetching. So, yeah, there's the Vox take. What do you reckon about that, Mike?
I don't know, man. Like, I don't know. What's there to even say about it? I mean, we don't want it. We don't want him to sign that thing. We want him to be strong. We want him to make good things happen. We want him to be a champion for us and fight against the bad guys. But instead, what we're getting is a lot of like, well, maybe there's still a thread of tiny little wisp of hope. Let's not give up on that. That's where we're at. Is that where we want to be?
Yeah.
Not really. So am I happy with it? No, I'm not happy with it.
No.
What else is there to say? I don't know.
Well,
I'm not really
we
glad
are.
about grasping at wisps of hope. It's
Yeah,
not why we
wisps
voted for Trump at all, to be in that type
pathetic.
of position. Yeah.
They're
So
pathetic.
as
It's
far
a
as that
pathetic
goes,
position.
it's a giant fail.
We have to hope that the 4D chess QAnon folks are right. We have to hope and pray that they're right. That there is a veiled secret maneuver up his sleeve. And here is some speculation from anonymous conservative on what that rabbit up the sleeve might be. Is it? No, it's rabbit in the hat, isn't it? What goes up the sleeve? Flowers? I don't know. Let's go with the rabbit.
The rabbit up his sleeve sounds good to me.
All right. Mike Pence intends to count the electoral votes on a Dominion voting machine. Check this out. Or at least that is the rumor on 4chan. This would be like, this is another, like, please, Jesus, let this be real. Believe me or not, it doesn't matter. The January 6th elector ballot count is going to go down as the greatest troll of all time. God, I hope so. You may or may not know, but the vice president gets to count the electors. That's the one thing the Constitution makes crystal clear. Apparently, the plan is for Mike Pence to roll in a Dominion voting machine or a knockoff that looks like one. He's then going to pull out a USB drive, update the software just before the count, and use the machine to count the elector ballots. Remember, this will be on national television. The count will not only come out fractional, but it will result in more votes than actual electors and result in Trump winning more electors than Biden. The chamber is expected to erupt in chaos. Obviously, the count will be challenged. Pence will then conduct a recount, but he will use the machine to print the recount ballots and then hand count those. So, reciprocity, right? Let's play their game. This is good. This is exactly what should happen. The recounted number will be similar to the original count, only changing by a couple of votes, but it will result in Trump winning by even more than before. Dems are expected to cry, fraud! And Pence will object and call for order. He will tell them that it's too late to challenge because it's already done. The count is finished. He will then deliberately wipe the machine's software. This is a rough sketch of what's being planned. I don't know the exact details, but Trump wants to fill DC because it's going to be, as he said, wild. Trump is calling all patriots to Washington, DC. And you know what's... I'll get to this next point after I read it. I don't know if Pence ultimately throws it to the House after the chaos or fully certifies Trump's win in this manner. My source wasn't sure. Hope you're ready for the salt to flow. Trump is a showman, first and foremost. That is true. And he's putting everything into this. I hope so. But, Trump did tweet. I think he's maybe been several tweets. There's definitely been one where he has called... He said, see you all in DC on the 6th. He wants the biggest MAGA march yet. And trust me, you guys want the biggest MAGA march on DC yet on January 6th, because if this happens, or even if this doesn't happen, whatever happens on January 6th, your country is either going to be stolen from you successfully, or you're going to prevent it. And interestingly, today's breaking news, US reports first case of corona mutation first found in the UK. There's been whispers of an even more contagious, even more deadly strain.
Of
And it just
course.
conveniently landed in the USA a week out from the deadline. A week out from the day that millions of patriots are planning to march on DC to ensure that the Democrats and Republicans don't hand your country to globalists.
Oh my
So,
God. Are we about to
you
see
know,
the airlines all locked down and the hotels closed?
yeah.
Oops. Oopsie.
So, yeah,
No
but they,
march for you.
hopefully they don't close the gas stations, hey? Because
Hmm.
y'all got wheels and highways.
Yeah, that's right.
You can get there.
Yeah, we can get there and save America.
I don't know. I don't know about that, but you can make it hard for them to steal it from you. Make it as hard as possible.
Are we? Are we? I don't know. It's not even worth. Is it even worth asking the question if it's already been stolen? Is it just an illusion? Are we chasing after a car that's
It's
already
been destroyed.
head down the
I'm
road?
telling you, America has
Yeah.
the United
been
States of
destroyed.
America. The U.S. Constitution is dead. It has
Yeah.
already been completely wiped
Right.
out.
We are like
Doesn't mean
late
the idea.
stage cancer coughing up blood, and now we're going, hey, we should go like start taking care of our health.
Yeah,
That's where
and
we're
I
at.
think the only way forward is to abandon the Constitution and the rule book, and to do what's necessary to win. I think that's the only way. Otherwise, it's us or them now. It's the globalist communist gulags for everyone, or it's the American people get together, organize themselves, and round up the traitors and put them on people's trials. A
Why does it have to be
counter-revolution.
us? Why don't you do it, James? What are you doing? You're just sitting over there in your island having a good time, just hanging out with wallabies
Yeah,
and
stuff's
koalas.
so good here in Australia. Yeah,
You're
it's so
just
great here.
sitting around. Hey, let's throw another shrimp on. Let's go head down to the bottle-o and get another
You know,
VB long neck. Yeah.
if you guys can't do it with your Second Amendment and all those guns you've got, if you guys can't prevent this, we're completely fucked in Australia. We're totally
Yeah.
fucked here. We don't have
Yeah.
any recourse like you. We don't have constitutional protections that you have, which again they're out the window if the state is not enforcing them. But you can still enforce them with the moral high ground for yourselves. You guys can pick up that document and go, "Hey, we didn't burn this thing. We tried to keep it alive, and you burnt it. So that's the game now. Now we fight, and if we win, we'll have another look at the Constitution and see if we can improve it or replace it." But it's over. Constitution is, I don't see it surviving as it is, and that's okay. It's not that great a document. It's good. It's not that great.
Yeah.
It's not. It's not
Not that
perfect.
great. No, it's
Yeah,
really not that great.
Yeah, it can be better. It can be a lot better. There was a lot of things they could not possibly have accounted for, and there was a lot of Freemason tricks slipped in the mix,
Yeah. Yeah.
like that freedom of
Yeah.
speech thing that we enjoy so much.
You know, look, let's take a weird little twist here. I'll share a video with you that has me thinking. I revisited an old classic today, from our friend Mick Jagger and his
Hey.
buddies. They had a
The
they had a hit
the
show.
Uber Boomers, the Uber Boomers.
So these are probably not the generation that's going to save us, but were they sending us clues and hints? Were they trying to let us know something that they couldn't just come out and tell us directly? And let's check out this nice tune. Let me make sure I've got my sound set up. If I play it, yeah, it's going to come through right here. Here we go. I've got the lyrics up for this video too, because they're interesting. Let's take a look through. I know we all know this song, but let's do a little reaction video to this. What do you say?
I don't know this song. I've never listened to the Stones. I got to say, I know a
This
couple of
song
their
is
hits,
called
but I've,
Sympathy for the Devil. You don't know this song?
nah, I'm not. I don't like the Stones. I think they're shit. I think they're the shittest popular band ever. I've never understood why anyone likes the Stones, and they're absolutely awful now that they're all like septuagenarians and like strutting about with wrinkly skin and no musical talent left because they're all so drug fucked.
Interesting.
They should have packed them away a
Interesting.
long time ago.
Is this going to trigger you if we play it? Do you hate them that much?
That's fine. No, I don't hate them.
I've never
I'm just
been a
not
fan.
interested in them.
I've never been a fan of the Stones either. It was definitely
Yeah.
for a different generation. But
Just
this
never
is a
understood the
song that,
appeal. Yeah.
look, I've been in California my whole life. I've worked in different type of situations where there's the rock station on the radio was playing in the background. I'm from the 90s kids generation. So I've heard this song 1,000 times. They play it on the radio, Sympathy for the Devil, and it's literally about Satan. And he's telling us something interesting. Let's listen through it. Check this out.